I've sat in a courtroom before, and most cases are not like
what was your argument?
Brothers.
That's not your hard drive?
It wasn't a child pornography case, and I was not the defendant. I observed a courtroom.
Oh, for what?
When I was a young man, I was on youth court.
What is that?
It's
Jim was out when we talked about this.
Ah, shit.
Yep, Jim's never heard this.
What is youth court?
Well, Esther, I'll tell you.
Yeah, what is it? I want to be the judge. Guess who's got no underpants under his robe?
Your Honor, I'd like to be tried by the youth court.
Yeah. Hey, court's in session. Everyone slide down them trousers. Go in there and look for the evidence with my fingers.
So, when I was a young man in Westchester,
sure,
it started, and this is a very impressive thing. Most people don't start youth court until they're in 9th grade. I got in when I was in 8th grade. And it's this...
Smarty pants.
I know. It's this thing. It's not school sanctioned. It's a government thing. So you go outside of school hours, like in the evening, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you do an interview and stuff, and they bring you on board, and then they teach you. They spend like probably almost a year teaching you about the law, and then
it was an after-school program.
Yeah, but it was like at night, so it wasn't right after school.
Mm-hmm.
But it was, but it was like a government-sanctioned program. And then once you've gone through that, you get to start trying real cases. Like they bring in misdemeanor cases that would normally go to family court.
Of adults.
No, kids. And they yeah. So like kids who do graffiti, kids who shoot BB guns, stuff like that.
Wow.
And they
kids who shoot their parents.
No,
yeah,
not
the
like
Menendez
murderers.
kids.
No, not quite that severe.
Kids who smother their infant sibling because they hate the attention.
Just sitting there crying in
kids
youth court.
Kids who set
like,
their
what?
bunny rabbits on fire.
Not quite that much. But it's stuff that like they would go and say, if you want to go to family court, you can. And that's a regular court system. But if you go to youth court, the most you'll get is community service hours. And when you're 18, it gets expunged from your record.
Sure.
And so that's why people choose to do it. And we would switch roles every week. You know, they'd get handed out. And it would be 2 kids who would be the defending attorneys. So
you played an attorney?
2 kids would be the prosecuting attorneys. 1 kid would be the bailiff, and 2 kids would be the judge.
What?
And it was like a real... It was like a real courtroom.
How old were you? 8th grade?
I started in 8th grade, so I started actually going through cases once I was in 9th grade.
Did you ever run into these kids, like, outside of the courtroom?
Well, yeah. First of all, you're supposed to take yourself off a case if somebody that you knew was on it. You're supposed to go to the detectives. What are you laughing,
but
Travis?
you stayed?
No.
Such a dorky thing.
I know. What a bunch of fucking little creeps.
And you'd have to wear like a suit, because it's court.
Nerds.
Were you also a hall monitor?
No,
God damn.
no. But I go and like my buddy was on trial because he like.
And what'd you say?
Oh boy, I'm screwed. But no, that wasn't that instance. But he did like a ton of graffiti, and
what was your friend on trial for? Having douchebag friends?
No.
Okay.
But he walked in, and like as he was walking, down the aisle to get to the front of the courtroom, if you weren't on the case, you did have to observe the case.
I like dicks.
I didn't. You can't play the soundbite of me saying it as I'm talking.
Is that what you would say when you got on?
No,
I like dicks.
I wouldn't say that.
Yes, you would.
That was your defense?
No. It wouldn't have come up anyway.
Sir, how do you plead?
You got a stupid.
Oops, wrong one.
So I would go and he came up, and like as he was walking, up the aisle towards the court, he was like, "Oh, hey, what's up, Sam?" And all like the people in youth court gave me like dirty looks because I knew one of the bad kids. It's embarrassing.
Should be.
It was embarrassing.
Or maybe it gave you street cred.
It did give me, but not with the youth court kids. They were like, oh, you hang out with the ruffians,
Rough and tumble friends.
the rough and tumbles.
Did any of them become lawyers?
I don't know. I didn't keep up with them.
I won best lawyer in my class.
You weren't a lawyer in your class.
I was in social studies. Mr. Anderson, we did do.
Mr. Anderson.
We did do lawyer classes. I mean,
Lawyer classes.
legal stuff.
Sounds very official.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a good lawyer.
You weren't in real cases.
Well, just in class.
I was in real
drug
cases.
possession, stuff like that.
That's fake. You just made it up.
No, we did actually do drug possession. And I remember how I lost the one case I lost. I pled wrong.
You only lost one case?
I pleaded incorrectly.
How's that?
because the drugs were found in the locker, and I pleaded guilty to possession. But then I made a good argument about how it shouldn't have been possession because that's a public thing, the school locker, and other people do have access to it. And I made a really good argument, but then they reminded me that I pled guilty to, like, oh yeah, I said he did do it. I gave them that. It was a mistake. However, I did catch my friend Joe Farino lying about, like, the one case about how far it was to go to work. And I'm like, how far of a drive is it for you? And he goes, about 8 hours. And I go, 8 hours each way? So you drive 16 hours a day? Joe just panicked on the stand. I nailed him.
Yeah, this was not mock trial. This is real life trial.
These were real things. Okay.
Yeah. I hated it, though, because I realized that there was other work involved. Like, when you were an attorney, when you were a defending attorney, you actually had to call the families of these fucking little miscreant kids to, like, work out, hey, how are we going to defend this thing? Like, you had to interview the parents and interview the
Did you see
client
these kids crying, like, in the courthouse?
No, because it was all bullshit trials. It was all just like the most thing you could do was a whole bunch of hours of community service, and the least thing you could do was a few hours of community service.
Oh, okay.
Like
So
it
they
was-
were already out of trouble.
totally. It was only community service we could hand out, and it was going to get expunged from records.
Like if a
after you're
boy
18.
cut his mother's throat, would they let him go to youth court? No.
It's not a family court trial.
Oh.
It's criminal.
Okay.
Did some of the parents not want to talk to you?
Yeah, I couldn't get any of
His
them on
own.
the phone.
Hey, hey, was there ever like weird crimes, like antisocial crimes?
Like what?
Like he's 11, and we brought home a little sibling, and he's been shitting in the baby bottle.
I would have struggled with that case. I never had to. Thank God, never had to try that one.
Okay.
No.
So it was all stuff like vandalism.
Vandalism, shooting BB guns. I think somebody lit like a building on fire.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, son of Sam fucking. He shot 2 people making love.
Yeah.
He was a firebug.
Was this before you turned to a life of crime impersonating wrestlers online?
And I was doing it at the same time.
Oh my God.
Oh my
I
God,
know.
it's crazy.
I was living a double life.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
I was like a little Nico.
Yes. My Lawyer, My Criminal. It's a great book.
That's my life story.
Yes, it is.
There was one I told you guys before.
Sam,
you weren't
go.
here. Thank you, Jim. The most like the worst part of the whole thing, my whole experience, and I'll never ever forget it, was I got to be the judge younger than most people because I started younger than most people. And when you're the judge,
So you're used to everybody hating you.
Yeah,
everybody
it's not
hated
new to
me.
him.
Everybody hated me. But when you're the judge, like you get these, you have your manuals, and it says in the manual exactly what the judge is supposed to say.
Right.
I didn't do any homework
Oh.
before this thing.
So you just made stuff up.
No, so I stood up. I sat up on the stand, with my book.
Did you wear a robe?
Yeah, I was the judge. Of course I wore a robe.
Black dress his mother gave him.
It's a cocktail gown.
Yeah.
Did you
She
touch
brought-
yourself under the robe?
It was a frock.
She brought it home and she said, "Why are there cum stains in the front?" In the back.
Sorry, in the back. I don't like the implication there. But I was sitting there, and I had my manual, because I had to read what the judge was supposed to say to the clients. And I was looking at like my peers who were the attorneys and the people who were there, but I didn't know what page it was in the book. So I just sat there on the stand with everybody looking at me.
Were you panicking?
Oh my God, was I panicking? I was flipping through the pages. It was nowhere to be found. It felt like I was up there for an hour, but I'm sure it was just like minutes. And one of the lawyers had to walk up from the stand and approach the bench.
One of the kid lawyers?
Kid lawyers. And just move
Were there
my...
any adults in this courthouse?
There were like a couple
Sure.
detectives that
There's
ran the
5
thing.
guys in the back just jacking off.
She had to walk up and move my book to the right page and then walk back and just tell me, just read that.
That's fine.
was like,
You're
"You're
not
stupid."
a real judge.
Exactly. What
It's
person?
like, how long were you a judge for? A day?
For that that trial, and then I probably was a judge a couple more times after that.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's right, Esther. A
Wow.
couple more times after that.
You're
Dang.
probably a good judge.
Oh, after that first one, I was.
Yeah, you knew
first
what to
one,
read.
first one, really,
So
really,
were
really
you
stunk
lenient?
up the
Were you
joint.
lenient on these kids?
No.
Oh God.
Did you give like a Puxatawny Phil? Hear ye, hear ye.
Just hitting the gavel down.
Were you ever worried these kids would like shoot their BB gun at you, like on the playground,
No, first
if
of
they
all,
ran into you outside of the courthouse?
That's a
We're
good
in-
question. Where they would take your marbles?
we're in high school. We're not playing marbles on the playground.
Is that what you do in high school?
Yeah.
That's what we did.
Play marbles on the
Yeah,
playground?
play jacks,
give you
marbles.
give you a noogie or throw you in a locker?
Jim, you playing jacks in high school
It was a
totally
different game. That's
thing.
true. Oh yeah, what do you mean? There's these things you pick up.
Right, yeah, no, we just trade jacks.
Were you good at jacks?
I never played jacks.
Didn't you have to like go like pick up one, then two,
Onesies
then
and twosies and threesies. I never played jacks. You know what happened? I wasn't born in the 1950s.
I wish you weren't in the 80s either. Thank you, Esther. I wish you was dead.
Esther? Yeah, that's it. I don't like that.
I don't know. I used to play jacks when I was a kid.
Yeah, they made video games for us, so we didn't
That's
have to
true.
play jacks.
Did you play jacks when you were a kid?
No, she didn't play jacks.
Hey, Esther's a very well-rounded person.
I played zoo.
What is zoo?
You get a bowl of grapefruit, grape nut cereal, and everybody goes on the floor and starts eating grape nut cereal, and you pick an animal that you're going to play, and the whole house turns into a zoo.
Why you gotta use grape nuts?
Because it looks like animal food.
Oh.
Yeah, stupid.
I played the same thing, but with shredded wheat thins.
Did you?
Frosted mini wheats.
Frosted.
No.
They weren't frosted before.
They certainly weren't. Frosted underpants. So you would do the animals, but then what was the point of the game?
Just to eat grape nuts?
It's to just act like an animal.
It's a terrible game.
Also to pick like an animal that you look like. You know, like if I think you look like a rhino, I'll be like, you're the rhino. Like everybody assigned each
What
other.
would people assign you?
Giraffe.
That sucks.
Why giraffe?
Because I have a long neck.
She does have a long neck.
Yeah.
That's traumatized you?
I feel like I'm talking to the Toys R Us sign.
No.
Come on. How many of the famous giraffes are there?
None. You could have just left it alone.
That's the same one.
Just being cute.
All right, yeah. Jeffrey, comment.
No, but we also
I know what his name is.
we also played another game.
Oh no. Oh no. What was the other game? This is where it gets ugly.
Yeah.
Okay, we played one game
Called the Scream into the Pillow.
Jackpot.
Oh boy.
Did you guys ever play Jackpot?
Do you know Jackpot?
I
Tim?
sure do.
Oh, no.
It's when you put your face in a pillow, and when it hurts too bad, you scream, and then someone yells jackpot.
We played it differently.
Oh, okay, good.
You had to do all these tasks, right? Like grab an orange or like all these things. Like it's almost like a treasure hunt.
Sure.
And then at the end, after all these tasks that you had to do, you had to touch our mom's butt. And whoever did that.
Whose idea was it? Your mom?
No, Dad.
Dad's just, and Dad watches.
You hand them all a knife. Touch your mother's butt.
And then whoever, finished all the tasks and then finished on my mom's butt would win. And
Finished on your mom's?
We'd all scream, jackpot!
That's a weird thing to do, man.
It's a really weird game.
Is it weird?
Yeah. Yeah.
Does your mom
Yeah.
remember that you guys used to play touch her butt?
I mean, like, she wanted us to touch her because...
You want to play jackpot?
Well, like, we would all
Does it work the
massage
same
her.
way?
Yeah, at the end you come over and you tug the little fleshy. You tug the little fleshy.
I think that's why when kids came over and played with us for one day, they never came back.
Wait, no, to win, you come over and you tug the fleshy treat bag. You tug on that fleshy treat bag. You win some treats.
I know.
Yeah.
I got it.
You win some milk.
I could have left it at treats,
All over
man.
your wrist.
I understand. Doesn't always have to be so, like,
Yeah.
on the nose.
Sure it does to feel good.
Okay. That one was my fault. I walked into it.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh.
Undie
You know what
doesn't sound so weird now, does it?
No, undie flip is probably worse than,
It's creepy.
than zoo or touch my mom on the butt cheek.
Yeah, undie flip is awful.
It's called Jackpot, Sam.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you know the game undie flip?
What is that?
Travis used to play it.
You
By
play-
the way, it's way worse than fucking youth court. Okay, so
No, it's
enough
not. I
of
was
your
a kid.
laughs. I was in high school,
So
and
is
I was
Travis.
making sure that the laws of Westchester were upheld.
So what? Can you explain to her what undie flip is?
First of all, you can't start playing until you have pubes.
Definitely not a rule.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the way I've always heard it.
My brother and I, we used to get naked and put our underwear on our ankle/foot, and we'd try to flip it up to the ceiling fan.
Are you on your back?
No.
Standing.
Yeah.
Just stand
Oh,
there, both trying to
standing.
flip panties up in the air.
Yeah, but they have to be joined together. So
I
they would
saw
hold
that.
each
That's
other
what
by the
Al
scrotum.
Lubell does in his one-man show.
Al Lubell.
Would you guys cheat? Like, if you were like, no, that's not on your ankle. You got your underpants on your toes. You can't do that.
Yeah, you had to do it right, Sam. There's rules.
Right.
We don't live in a lawless society.
Who would
Go to
normally
youth
win
court for
undie
that.
flip?
Whoever came first.
This guy with his face pressed up against the window. Yeah. Oh, the tough kids are at it again.
Was it your older brother or younger brother?
Younger.
His
by, like-
uncle. He's 51.
Oh, so you're the perv.
Yeah, I mean, we're less than a year apart, or a year and a half apart.
One day, Travis, they knew the game was over when one day Travis was a little older and he wanted to incorporate a Ritz cracker into the game.
It's just sportsmanship.
Yeah.
And then when you put your underwear back on, you probably put on your brother's underwear.
Well, no, we would like to leave it up there, and then my mom would get upset when she would turn the ceiling fan on, and the underwear would fly off with all
Absolutely.
the dust on it.
These two duty and semen-filled objects.
So
Skid marks flying in the air.
Your mom would get upset because she'd find underwear on the ceiling fan, and then eventually would leave with a Jewish fan.
No, what happened was
And
the
never
underwear.
talk to you guys again.
The underwear flew off, and landed on his father's head, and she went, "I like that look."
Travis's mom abruptly left his family for a man of Jewish
rabbi.
descent.
Oh.
Yeah, one day, and she's never spoken to them since.
Yeah.
And she made Travis miss the last episode of Monday Nitro.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
It's fine. I'm over it until Sam brings it up.
It's on the network.
Have you ever seen it, Travis?
I've seen parts of it.
It's a trigger for Travis. He can't watch it.
Yeah.
Just starts crying and speaking Yiddish.
Did you play any weird little sex games when you were younger?
Yeah.
I
You
don't-
did?
Yeah, we played them too. What did you play?
We played this thing. We didn't have a name for it, but like you just go under my parents' blanket and you take off all your clothes. And one kid takes your
With
clothes.
your parents in the room?
No, they weren't there.
Oh.
And then one kid takes the clothes and runs out of the room. And
Is he
everybody,
naked?
Whoever's underneath the blanket is naked.
By the way, somebody just posted a photo of Judge Sam.
And then everybody screams in delight because it's like, oh my God, somebody's naked, you know?
But then you're all naked.
No, but then you bring the clothes back and then you put the clothes back on.
So you just have one kid running around naked with all
No,
your
no,
clothes?
no, you're not running around. You're in the bed naked.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
It's not that bad.
the kid that took the clothes,
They come back.
is he naked?
No, they're not naked.
Oh, so they're the odd man out or odd
So
kid
you're
out.
just naked.
Yeah, whoever's under the blanket is naked. But it's like exciting because it's like somebody's naked.
But you
Jim-
wouldn't see.
Jim used to suck his friend's dick in the pool.
Yeah.
And one time he pissed
Yeah.
in his mouth.
Twice. Same instance.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Did you tell him not to?
I did. I said, please don't do that again.
What happened?
Right again. Fool me twice. Shame on me.
Really got you, didn't he?
Ah, boy, he was slick.
Did you swallow it?
I don't remember. I might have.
That's worse than the bed game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, drink piss in the pool.
What would you have done if Jim's friend came into youth court and said that, you know, Jim came and said
If he
He
was
urinated
Your
in my
Honor,
mouth, and he said he
Your
wouldn't.
Honor, he peed in my mouth.
Now, is that what he's on trial for, or is Jim just there as a character witness?
No, that's what he's on trial
He's on
for.
trial for lying.
Lying is
Promised
not
to
a
say he
crime.
wouldn't do it again.
I'd like to bring charges against this man. He told me he would not pee in my mouth.
Exactly.
And he did once again.
What would the punishment be for that?
I would definitely.
How old was he?
We were both like probably second, third grade.
We
Okay,
probably
7, 8
normally
years old.
Yeah, we normally wouldn't get kids in that young, but I would probably try to throw the book at him. That means I would probably he would end up with up to 20 hours of community service.
That's it?
Well, yeah, I mean we couldn't go that far with the punishments.
Yeah.
20 hours?
I think 20 hours was about as far as we could go. I mean, it depends. If he's lying to Jim about pissing in his mouth multiple times, maybe I could give him 20 hours for each time.
I had to do community service. I got arrested for something. I had to do it.
What'd you get arrested for?
Just being with people who were getting high. It was drugs or something. It was like minor.
Possession?
Yeah, I mean, they were smoking pot. I don't even, it's just a...
But you don't remember what the actual charge was?
No, it was so minor. I just got some community service,
Did your parents get pissed?
Yeah. It was like an old person's home I had to go to. That's why I know how old people smell when they're dying.
You had to
Oh, you had to
wash,
help out
wash
there?
them?
Not them, but just keep the place clean. It was in New Brunswick. The
So you'd be
guys
like
that
a
worked there.
janitor?
That's not bad.
Yeah. But I remember this one fat old lady would walk by, and you could literally smell her 5 minutes later. It smelled like rot.
Really?
It was. I never knew that smell existed, that a person could smell like that.
She was dying, you think?
She was just
Just
old
slowly.
and crazy.
Yeah.
And I remember I think the guy's name was Paul who worked there. I don't remember the other two guys. They were like,
Sure.
yeah. I was like 13 or 12 or whatever, 14. I know I was younger, 13. And they were 25-year-old guys. It was a weird place.
Did they ever try to touch you?
No, they weren't creepy. They just,
Did you ever try to touch them?
No. It was just, go do this, mop here. That's shit.
Did you get into sexual stuff when you were in like high school? Because I feel like all your weird sexual stories come when you're like young.
Yeah, no, I did.
What'd you do in high school?
Same stuff. I remember this one girl
You
used
get
to
piss in your mouth?
No. But I remember
Oh.
this one girl. I told you this story about the girl. My balls were really sweaty, So I was drunk, and it was the middle of the summer. I was wearing army pants. So to try to get my balls dry because she was going to blow me, I put baby powder on them.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
went
you're supposed to do that before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not once. It was already sweaty.
Right.
So she was blowing me, and I smelled bad. And I remember she was like, and she stopped.
There's powder. Oh.
It was disgusting.
Why were you wearing army pants in the summer?
I just thought it was cool.
Was it?
Nope.
But at least you're getting blown, though.
Yeah.
I mean, some kids don't get blown. I wasn't getting blown much.
Yeah, no, I did. I was a dirty boy.
Good for you.
Surprised you weren't.
You didn't take advantage of your judge power?
I should have. I
Right.
didn't know.
Yeah.
I wish I'd known.
Were there girls who were volunteers too?
Yeah, but they were all older. Like, there was a girl that showed me the right page in the book. It's humiliating. They all
Yeah.
looked
Maybe
at
she
me
likes
like,
that. Maybe she's dominant. She might have loved that.
Yeah, but they probably looked at me like, this kid is not fit to be a judge.
So what?
None of you guys were fit to do anything.
I mean, I
Exactly.
guess
You're
in
dorks.
hindsight, that's a great point.
Yeah.
What do you think? She was a real prosecutor?
Well, I felt that at the time.
You don't know if any of them became lawyers?
No, I have no idea. I haven't kept in contact with any of them.
Oh, okay.
No, none of them. I'm sure some of them became alcoholics.
Do you miss them?
No.
Were you popular in high school?
I had friends. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't unpopular, but I wasn't like the cool kid. I was just, I floated between cliques. I had friends. I didn't have enemies. People didn't. Well, some people hated me, I'm sure, but I wasn't widely hated. I wasn't beaten up or anything like that. I wasn't a weirdo.
Okay.
I was just a goofball.
Were you popular in high school?
No. No, people hated me.
Why?
I get that.
No, one time I went in the bathroom in my high school and it said on the wall, somebody wrote, Esther Koo, go to hell, die.
What?
Yeah.
They
So at
couldn't even
least-
think of a good rhyme with coup?
I just like that you were so like well known that somebody just out of the blue just wrote that on the wall.
Out of the fucking blue?
Yeah. And why were you so hated that somebody would just go to the bathroom and be like, you know what? Fuck Esther Koo.
Go to hell and die.
Go to hell and die.
I don't know. Maybe because of stuff I wrote in the school paper,
What'd you write in the school paper?
like exposés on the administration and the teachers.
But why would kids hate that? See, I would think you'd be
Right.
popular.
I feel like it was a teacher.
Who wrote Esther Koo, go to hell and die? What would you write in the
Probably.
school paper?
Well, I would take like quotes that the teacher said and print them in the paper.
Like what kind of quotes?
Like,
Like that sweater, Esther.
I wish Esther Koo would die.
like, funny things that teachers said or like perverted, inappropriate things that they said that
Like what?
to students. Like our gym teacher said to a classmate of mine, "Why is your left boob bigger than your right boob?" And I printed that in the newspaper, and then he got into trouble at the dean's office.
Well, what's amazing is like
What
if
was
you
the
had-
answer, though? Why was the one tit bigger?
if you had published that today, that high school newspaper article would probably become like a national story.
It'd be everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he
You
get
were ahead
fired?
of the curve.
No, he didn't get fired, but
Were you like a dork?
yeah.
So
But
maybe-
I wrote on the school paper, so I would get people in trouble
Yeah.
from what I wrote, and then the teachers would be called into the dean's office. And they were like, "Is this true what you said?"
And your byline was right there. Everybody knew who wrote it.
Yeah.
By Esther the Snitch. What a fucking rat.
I wrote for the school newspaper a little bit.
No.
But
Is
I
it
never-
called The Advocate?
No, that's a gay publication. But I've only had a couple articles printed because I would just keep going in and pitching wrestling ideas. And they kept saying
No.
They kept going, "No, Sam, we're not doing that."
Oh, I know why they
But in my
hated
head,
me.
it made sense. Like, of course, this completely relates. I should write about like what the fucking NWO is doing.
No.
And they go, "No, we're not putting that in the school newspaper. It doesn't
Doesn't
make any
You
sense."
should have started a wrestling journal
like
or blog.
right. Well, they didn't have blogs back then.
But you just assumed that everybody was into wrestling.
Who isn't? I
you
still
were,
assume everybody's into wrestling. You like wrestling, right?
I mean, I
Yeah.
don't really watch wrestling.
What?
No. I don't either, Esther.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
Why?
I thought everybody did.
No.
Yeah.
All right. Suit yourself. You guys didn't like stay up late and watch the Japanese wrestling pay-per-view in the middle of the night last night?
Did you?
No, but when I woke up this morning, I caught the end.
How was it?
Fucking awesome. Alpha versus Omega. My God.
So why they hate you?
Because I talked shit about the Rosemont kids. Like the Rosemont kids went to our high school and they were the rich kids. and everybody else was
boy.
like working class. But the kids who grew up in Rosemont, they had a gated community.
So the socias didn't like you.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And their parents.
Sherry Lane wrote something.
Their parents hated me because they had like the town of Rosemont is where O'Hare Airport is.
Right.
And they don't have to pay taxes because the airport brings in so much money.
That's super.
Wow.
dope.
Yeah. So there's like a very small residential area of Rosemont where, there's like a handful of houses and they just are more well off than the rest of us.
And they have to deal with the airport noise and the traffic. That's probably part of it too. Is like the congestion. It's like you're dealing with it's a pain in the ass to have an airport in your neighborhood.
But
Yeah.
those
So you probably
houses
don't pay
must be
local taxes.
Those houses must be so expensive, though.
Yeah, but those kids were more well off than everybody else.
More well-to-do.
Yes. But then they went to our high school.
Right.
And so
So it was the rich kids that were writing that you should go to hell in the bathroom.
probably.
Right.
So I wrote in the school paper, you're from Rosemont when you pay your way to the top. And I put parentheses valedictorian and homecoming queen because they were both from Rosemont
Right.
my senior year.
So you accused the valedictorian and the homecoming queen of
bribery.
of purchasing their
crime.
seats.
I mean, it was always like a funny column that I wrote, and it was just meant to be a joke. But then the town of Rosemont went crazy on me, and like these parents, they like Xerox copied it and put it in everybody's door in the town of Rosemont. And then they wanted my column to be censored from the paper.
Mm-hmm.
And
Was it?
They had meetings about like what we should do.
What a troublemaker.
Well, did you get censored or no?
I did, yeah. So my column, they didn't let my column be printed in the newspaper the next week.
Were you mad? Did you feel like a journalistic martyr?
Well, I wanted to study journalism, and I was mad, so I went and started. And this is when like everybody just started getting Hotmail addresses and
Sure.
had AOL. So I started an underground newspaper, and I would email like my friends like what I would have printed in the paper without having my journalism teacher approve of things. So I just wrote what I wanted to write. And then it kind of went like viral in my high school. Like everybody kind of printed it out and was passing it around at school.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, but then
What did your parents think of your journalistic pursuits?
they didn't really. Oh, you know what? My mom called the school because they took away like this citizenship award that I got
Why?
because
You're still a good citizen.
because I started this underground newspaper, and the principal called me into the office, and he had printed out. I had a column called "You have your period when." You sound like a diaper when you're walking down the hallway and stuff. So the principal had this printed out, and he was like, what is all this? I'm like, what? It's just my paper, and I didn't distribute it on the school.
Yeah, other people are, but I didn't.
Sure.
So like I didn't get suspended or expelled, which I kind of wish I did, because maybe I would have made the Tribune or something.
Oh, yeah, girl gets expelled for writing about periods?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that as a headline.
But instead, they kept me in school because I was like an honor roll student, and then
Right.
and then they just took away my River Grove Mayor's Award for good citizenship. And my mom called the principal and was like, "Please give the award back to my daughter." And I'm like, "I don't care about the award."
You didn't
like,
give a fuck, right?
I'm like, "It's better that it got revoked." I'm like, "I'm more proud of that."
Right,
Did
now
they
you're a
give it back?
badass.
They never got it back.
No, so you're a rebel.
Yeah.
That's
so.
great.
So this kid, Sean Maher, he hated me. Maybe he went in the women's restroom and wrote that.
Maybe.
Because he was, when I got the award,
Yeah.
he was like, "Why did you get it?" I'm like, "I don't know." Like the principal just doesn't know how I act in class. He just assumed like
Were you a Weisenheimer in
she's
class?
in band. What is that?
Wise ass.
Oh,
But then again, how would he have gotten into the girls' room to write it?
Yeah.
That's probably a girl who wrote it. A boy's not going into the girls' room in high school.
true.
Probably one of the female socias who wrote it, who lived by the airport.
Absolutely.
Probably this girl that I made a fat joke about.
Don't say her
You-
last name. What'd you say about
You
her?
had a lot of people that hated you.
Yeah. What'd you say about
Like,
this
there's a
girl?
lot of suspects.
No, but she wasn't fat. I was actually just making a joke that she was
Fat.
yeah, but she was skinny. But like,
But you
how
called her
all
fat.
girls think that they're fat.
Sure.
So she just took it personally.
So you gave a skinny girl a complex.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Good. A little body shaming never hurt.
No.
I guess because I was probably skinnier than her.
So you were bragging about it.
So no, I wasn't. I didn't mean to. I was just joking around.
What'd you say
Right.
about it? Was it for good natured or was it mean?
I forgot what I said.
But you
Call her a
meant-
fat pig?
No, but another
Oinker?
incident. When I was in 8th grade, I learned what the word obese meant.
Uh-huh.
It's a great word.
Did you use that one?
I did, and I'm like, I'm just looking at the technical definition of obese, and I called Sarah obese, and then Sarah hated me.
For calling her obese?
Right.
Was she a fatty?
No, she was just big boned. She wasn't obese. But I was just trying to like use a new word.
But she's probably fat.
Because I was a dork. I was just like, you know.
You love the word.
Trying to increase my vocabulary.
But when you're not obese, but you are big,
yeah,
you're sensitive about that generally. So when somebody
you
turns
definitely
to
don't want to be segued into obese.
Right, right. Because you're sitting there going like, well, maybe I'm not as fat as I think I am.
I'm big boned.
Right. Maybe
I'm a tall girl.
People probably don't see me the way I see me. I see fat, but maybe they don't see me as fat.
And 100-pound Esther says you're obese.
She got me back though.
What'd she say?
Well, one time I was peeing, and she and her friend came over, and they took a picture of me peeing.
Yeah.
While I was on the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
And
did they get fired for their satellite radio job?
No, the teacher. I came.
What'd they do with the photo?
Well,
I know what I'd do with it.
I told the teacher. I go. Sarah just took a picture of me peeing in the bathroom, and she made.
What a snitch!
Well, you are a rat.
What a fucking.
Why don't you put that in your paper, Scoops?
Yeah.
So she goes, delete that picture, but she didn't really make them delete the picture.
Right, she just told them to.
Because they were more popular.
Think they still have it?
Yeah, I saw it.
Do you think they still have it?
Probably.
Did they do anything with it?
No, I looked at the photo. You couldn't really see anything.
Damn it.
Because it was like an aerial shot.
Right. Well, it's from over the stall door, right?
And it was on like a disposable, like 35 millimeter.
Oh, it was. That's right. No
like
cell phones back then.
You go printed at Walgreens.
Why would your teacher say delete that photo on a disposable camera?
Well, like open up the camera
and wreck it.
Oh, and like wreck the film.
Expose the film.
She's like, I'm not ruining my camera.
She's like, no.
Yeah, there's a whole roll of film here.
And what could I do?
Right. Okay. Yeah. No, it's ruined. It's gone now.
How long does it take to develop film?
Like
I've never done. I have such a dark.
3 to 5 days.
Oh, really?
Well, now you can get it done in like an hour.
Yeah, 1 hour.
But I mean, at your own place. I have a really dark closet, and I could probably do film developing in there. I don't have any film. I'm just curious.
You should do it.
Just takes a couple minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That fast?
Yeah, you got to take the. You never did it in school?
Nah, it was never a hobby for me.
Just dip the chemicals and then put them up to dry and stuff.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, hang it
You're
up.
gonna put a dark room in your house?
No, I'm not. I was just thinking, like, my closet is so pitch black.
That you could develop photos in it.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's something. I guess it wouldn't have occurred to me to do that.
What was the movie where they developed all those? Oh, Blowout with John Travolta and Nancy Allen, where they witness there's an accident or something, and through a bunch of photos, they make them like a little film because they make the pictures go fast. It's such a stretch. Do you remember that movie?
No, I never saw
Troy?
Blowout.
No.
No, I've never seen it.
You ever see 1 Hour Photo with Robin Williams?
Yeah, vaguely.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a pretty good movie. You find out at the end that like this one family's been coming in there for years, and every single time they come in, he's just making copies of their photos for himself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was creepy.
Yeah, it was really creepy. He was very creepy in that movie. Cy, the photo guy.
Yeah.
That was cool.
This movie, I forget exactly what happened with some kind
Blowout?
of crime. Yeah, but it was the way they took all of the photos and made them move fast like a movie, but there was not enough photos, and they had, and yet, but they still made it look like really like a movie, and it's like it doesn't work that way.
There wasn't nearly enough.
No,
That's too bad. That's too bad. When there's just obvious plot holes there, like, what are you doing,
Come
guys?
on.
This isn't a movie.
Yeah, I could just
work.
make them go faster.